Hello, everyone. We are back. Simpsons in review, the finale.
Finale. I have spelt finale right?
I don't know. I'm not on Twitch. Finale.
Yes!
Yeah,
Yes!
that's how you spell it.
Oh,
I'm just being a funny man,
oh wow.
kind of. Um, it's me, Michael,
There you go, remember your
the
name.
really region robot, and as always, with me is this guy.
Chris, hello everyone.
But
Hello.
that's the guy. Chris, it's the finale.
It is.
Apparently,
I wore a
according
t-shirt.
to you did. I didn't. I'm just wearing a
I know.
a rag one.
Some of us like to put the effort in for the final episode, you know.
Some of us work night shift.
I don't care. That's not an excuse.
Yes, this is it. This is because obviously the fire that the world is on is starting to die down a bit now. So some of us are allowed to go into the fire, which is good, apparently.
Yeah.
So we need to slow things down here at Always the Worst, at HEW podcast. So that means we're sort of dialing back. We figured the end of season 3 is a good rounding off point.
It is.
And we have a big finale because we have an extra episode to talk about.
I know. Do you know what we like
But
to
it's
aim
good.
big?
It's good.
We're aiming
It
big.
means the finale is just a big old thing. But let's get cracking. Chris, do you want to take us with separate vocations? Because I watched this for last week's podcast or last week's stream.
Yes.
I had watched this one, thinking we're going to talk about it, but we didn't.
No.
So it's very far out my brain. Like I can remember decent amounts of it, but I'll struggle.
Yeah.
So
I'll run you through
you
it.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I think season 3 we've not had a week where we watched the set episodes. It's either we've watched one too many, or well, I've watched one too many.
I was about to say, what's this wee shit?
Well, this week you never watched it again.
I've been watching absolutely all the correct episodes every fucking week.
So separate vocations is stupid as oh hell because they get told what their career's going to be.
Yeah, when they're like less than they're just getting double digits.
Wait.
Like,
This is where this is wrong. Right. I'm not even going into summary because this annoyed me.
Okay.
I understand tests like that. I can kind of get it to help steer people into a vocation. I'm kind of okay with that. Like, you get seen a talent when you're younger, and they go, right, we're going to do some stuff, see what your talents lie in, and then go, and not force you down it, but going, here's a wee push in that direction that might help you down the line. I am all for that. All for that. But you can't have that test with a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old and all the school at the same time. Is that not maybe like a set age that you do that, not just random? Like
it should probably be like an age thing.
Yeah. So
Not just like all schools get it at the one day thing.
Yeah. So this happens, and Lisa gets told she's going to be a homemaker because she has stubby fingers. She's not smart anymore, apparently. You know, straight A student and all that. Nope, stubby fingers. Bart gets told he's going to be a cop, and it is brilliant because that's what makes this episode for me is the music. It becomes a like late 80s, early 90s cop drama, and then they even pull out the Beverly Hills Cop music.
And the sort of the empty boxes piled up and the car crashes through them kind of trope.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a fun one. But the thing that got me was Lisa's response to everything was so shit. It's like, what? And then there's stuff about Marge I'll get into, but see Lisa's response, everything that's been led up to Lisa is she's quite rebellious for what she believes in. So she goes to a jazz teacher and the teacher goes, no, you're not going to be a jazz musician because you're stubby fingers. And instead of basically going, fuck you, I'll do what I want, she just becomes a depressed wee sod for the rest of the episode. And there's no resolution to her thing. It just ends with her not pushing. She just becomes a bad student for a while. You're like...
Yeah, she becomes like the classic rebel of like, I'm fuck society. This is me. I'm just gonna rebel. But it's not like, no, they've told you that you're gonna be A, but you want to be B. Rebel by going to be B.
Yes.
Like, tell them no.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's like Marge does help eventually, but her initial response is, well, there's nothing wrong with being a homemaker. You can be really creative and stuff. And it's like, I agree. There's nothing wrong if you want to be a homemaker, but you never chose to be a homemaker, Marge. You got thrust onto that role because you had a kid with Homer. Lisa's 10 and getting told basically you've got to go get up the duff and stay at home the rest of your life, and you're like, that's fine. No, it's not. Unless that's exactly what she wants. No.
Because it's a very difficult thing. Like homemakers are pivotal
Yeah.
in so many lives. Homemakers are so pivotal because you'll have the one partner who will go out and work their job and earn plenty of money, enough to cover the two of them, but then the other one will stay at home and do all that. We've seen that episode where Marge does everything, the one where she goes to rent to relax. So she does everything. She goes to get the groceries, she looks after Maggie, she sorts the pet, she sorts Homer's fucking bowling balls apparently. And it's such an important role in society. But if you were just yourself, you're not part of a relationship, you're not part of anything, a homemaker is not a job, it's not a job, it's not a career. You can't survive by just being a homemaker because there's no income to a homemaker. So to tell a child that you're going to be a homemaker tells them you're going to be relying on another partner to make the money while you stay at home.
It's like the joke of it all wasn't it funny, of like, big independent Lisa, and it's like, no, because in an aptitude test like that wouldn't be an option. Homemaker isn't a career path where you get taught or your smarts dictate that's what you're going to be. That's a completely emotional thing. To be a homemaker is based around emotion. Because some people just can't do it. Some people are like, no, I need to work, where other people's are like, no, I like being at home. I like taking care of the family and everything else. So yeah.
Absolutely.
She was basically told, you're a woman, go do woman work. And it's like, good job, Simpsons. You kind of dated yourself there a little bit. That was a very dated episode.
Yeah, let's not forget that this was 28 years ago that this was done.
Yeah.
And obviously, things were a little bit different back in the 90s.
Yes, they very much were.
Yes.
That brings up an interesting conversation point, because we've seen in a recently of things getting pulled from TV shows and full TV shows getting taken off streaming sites because of attitudes towards things back when. It brings up a really interesting conversation of, see, when something does something of the time which is seen as fine, do you delete it and say it never happened, or do you keep it there? Because the attitude now is, get rid of it, it's not happened. We had the Michael Jackson episode as well because of everything with him and stuff, but this is a bit more on the nose of dating. So
my thoughts on this one are, especially because of the age that we're at, and things have become a lot more modernized, and it's not that we're learning that things are wrong, it's that everyone's becoming more vocal and standing up and being like, we knew this was wrong, but now we're going to actually take action and stop things. But we're at a wonderful age in technology where all these shows that we had previously are out in a physical media format, so like as a DVD or a video. And they're at the format where they were originally shown. So the likes of Fawlty Towers, which has its stuff going on. Scrubs recently got notified for that because there was an episode with blackface.
Yes.
And then obviously we've got the Michael Jackson episode of Simpsons. But then we get to these episodes in modern TV, not in the DVDs, in TV. TV have said, right, we're not going to show this episode of Simpsons, we're not showing this episode of Scrubs, and we're not showing Fawlty Towers at all. And everyone gets super uppity, being like, oh, you can't just take it away. I'm sorry, I needed to move back because I was going to get very loud there. Buy the fucking DVD and watch it! If you so desperately want to see these jokes that are so dated, buy the DVD and watch them yourself at home. If this TV executive network thing decides that they don't want to show that episode, fair enough. Good for them. They're not wanting to show those jokes live. They don't want a new generation that might not have seen those jokes. They don't want that to be
Right.
implemented
I
on
need to
them.
jump in there because that's not why
Sure.
they've not shown them.
No. It might not be because of that.
Because
Obviously, it's the content.
Yeah, no, because they're
but,
not showing it is because people have shouted at them to not show it. They're not
Yeah.
doing it on a moral high ground, and I think we need to get that differentiate between, because
Yeah.
people are starting to think it's a high ground that they've taken when they haven't. They're just seeing money coming in is the problem, and it's an odd one with jokes like this because if it's on a streaming service that you pay for, you've paid for it. You've technically paid to watch that, all of it, in its entirety as well. I get it, see, for like terrestrial telly, like normal TV. I totally get it. But it's kind of odd when it's things like Netflix, when it is things like Prime and stuff. Especially with Prime, because you can buy things properly on Prime.
Yeah.
And if they take the episodes out on things like that, that's when we get into this kind of murky water. It's an interesting time because we're all becoming more empathetic and compassionate people.
Yes. More socially aware.
Yes, very much so. And I think there's just push and shove on either side now is so extreme that you don't know what side of the fence is actually pushing the right way anymore, because one set does something, the other set brings up some other nonsense to say, well, that's actually wrong, and then this is wrong, and back and forward. It is interesting as we talk about The Simpsons.
Yes.
It's just because this brought a thing up that because everything that's happening now, it just made me think, like, I wonder where the line is. But I think you're right with if you want it, buy it. Because most people screaming about it getting taken off air, I guarantee they haven't watched Little Britain recently.
Yeah.
Or Fawlty Towers, or maybe Scrubs and stuff like them. But I guarantee you wouldn't even remember the episode when they take it out. Like, you won't be like, that episode's meant to fall in here because it's sitcoms.
Yeah, it's not going to be super... Like, they do, like, follow a story throughout their years, but I don't think that episode is anything, like, super pivotal.
No.
But yeah, the likes of Little Britain is obviously a big offender.
Yeah.
And you think, like, oh, it was a classic in British comedy, but, like...
No, I'm kind of so with them that way, because I was having a discussion with Donna about that. It's like, say you do a bit more stereotypy stuff, because we stereotype everything for comedy. If you do a white person, you stereotype it. But you get a white person to play that role. There's nothing to stop them getting a black actor or a black comedian to do a stereotype of themselves. Then they get in the writing.
If they want to.
Yeah, they get in the writing process of it.
Yeah.
To do it, because think about it, like all the Chris Rock and stuff, their jokes about their people are so funny because it plays on the stereotypes of them, and it's funny because it's relatable because he's talking from a place that he's seen and he knows. And I think that's what gets me. It's like some of the jokes might be a wee bit on the nose, but it's just the idea of, why didn't you hire somebody? Like, seriously, what's wrong with just getting somebody in just to go, like, we could pull this off if we actually put people in place to do it? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Shit,
I'm sorry. It got me. So, Dog of Death.
Yes. Oh, more heavy stuff.
Oh,
so,
man.
I'll talk about this one because I think if you talk about it, you might get a little bit emotionally unstable. I have yet to get myself a dog. We're in the process of working that one out. But I imagine as you watch through this episode, there may have been just a single tear just running down you. So go on.
The problem with all these now is I've went through like 4 weeks worth of the heaviest stuff possible because of that stupid foreign film, English film thing.
Yep.
And I have destroyed that last bit of innocence within me. And I'm just sad all the time.
Wow.
It's wrecked me.
Oh, no. So, Dog of Death. The Santa's little helper falls ill, gets a twisted stomach, and they need to pay for an operation to get his stomach fixed. And that results in the family having to make budget cuts, and then everyone becomes super annoyed at said budget cuts, and Homer just doesn't close the door. One night the dog gets out, and then he gets picked up by Mr. Burns, who trains him to be an attack dog, and then recognizes Bart. And then Bart's like, I love you, and everyone's happy again.
And that is the actual episode. There's nothing
That's the
else.
whole thing.
There's basically nothing else in this episode. Do you know what kills me about this? 2 days.
I-
They lasted 2 days on their budget.
Jeez.
See when everything kicks off? I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
2 days later.
Right.
It's like he's just back from these surgeries thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And one bad haircut and 2 bad meals. 2 of them. They're done with the dog. You're like, you fucking assholes.
Yeah. So this one's very sad, and just as a human, and as like a dog lover, it just makes you think like you kind of side with Bart in this one.
All
How,
the
like
way.
as soon as they're like, oh, it'll cost $750, they're like, oh, we'll talk about it, and Bart's like, what's there to talk about?
Yeah, you're ready to get up.
We're gonna get the operation, right?
Yep, it's that thing of, see when you bring up the things of like, see when we have before we have the discussion about jokes and things about people, there's discussion. There's discussion there. See when it comes to animals, there's no fucking discussion.
No, you pay that money, you fix that dog.
Yes, because animals don't get a say. The same.
No.
They just get told, oh, you're going to the vet, and it's like, oh, so happy, oh, look, I'm with my people now. And then it's like, even after they get the injection, it's still like, oh, I love you. And then it's just too sad because, nope. Moving swiftly on, because I might cry. And I'm not crying on stream. No.
So as I say, there should never have been a question.
No.
Even the fact that like I don't know if it's because, so obviously if you paid nothing for a dog, then you would, I don't know if you would be of a thought of, well, we didn't spend anything for the dog, so if there's any surgery or anything that comes up, that's the money that would, or I don't know if they're going with the thought of, we didn't spend anything, so why should we spend any more to fix it? Versus if you had a dog that cost $3,000, you would obviously pay over and above for any surgery that might come up.
Yeah. But for me, it's a life, and you have to respect it. It's like, I understand animals need to die for us to survive at certain points for if you eat meat, but you have to respect it. You have to respect life and death and animals for keeping them alive or letting them die. It's a respect thing there. And I am pretty sure there's going to be free veterinarian clinics in America as well, because there will be people that will do that, I imagine. Like, and if they don't, use are bastards. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah. So the rest of it is just it starts off with the lottery. They get obsessed with the lottery. Homer's just like, I have a feeling we're gonna win the lottery, and you're just like, wow, you are an idiot.
You're an absolute tool. And then he buys 50 tickets.
Yep.
He loses, and then Marge.
After one number is called, he tears up tons of the tickets, and you're like, do you know how the lottery works?
Aye, because that's the thing, you realise it's only like a week or so. It might not be 2 days, but a week or so later, because Marge's lottery numbers come up, like the next one, for 40 grand, and she's like, oh, my numbers went. Of all the things you could cut back on, I'm sure your lottery ticket isn't in there. It's £2. Like, and Bart could have just not got a haircut for a while.
Yeah.
You know? And I like how they take away Lisa's study thing, as if that's a total wasted expense. Like, what? Like, do you know how to budget and actually save money? Like,
I think Homer's beer thing is probably the biggest.
Oh, yeah, because it really shows up the alcoholism of him when he's dancing for change. You're like, oh fuck, this is quite serious now. Yeah. And all comes out good in the other end, which I'm so happy about, because I like Santa's Little Helper. He looks like Kenny but brown. So I have a soft spot for Santa's Little Helper these days.
Yeah.
But
I do love because we've not talked about any jokes really in this. We're sticking with very heavy stuff, so I'm trying to bring some funny stuff into it now.
It becomes it in the next 4. I'm looking at the next 4, and I'm like, these are all joke heavy.
But Crippler, the old dog.
Yeah. Oh, Crippler.
It's so funny how apparently that dog is 30 years old.
To be fair, when I put down one of my best friends' Patch, he was 21 years old.
Gee. Wow.
He was an oldie. I got him when I started high school.
Wow.
I know, right? He was a beautiful wee dog. Wee collie, Alsatian cross.
Oh,
He was so cute. He was
that's been a
amazing.
big boy.
No, he was quite small. He was like the size of a collie, but
Right.
he looked like colourings of an Alsatian.
Oh, cool.
Pretty cool looking dog.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yes, please.
Yes. So, Colonel Homer, do you want to take us through this?
Yes, Colonel Homer. Homer gets into a fight with Marge because Marge finally snaps because Homer can't shut the fuck up in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
He's this guy in the cinema. He's me. And but again, I'm not obnoxious that way like Homer. I'm just happy to be there. Unless it's the
Yeah.
Predator, then I'm not happy to be there. Yes, I brought
so
the
how
Predator into a Simpsons one. I've not done it yet. Yes.
I had a brilliant moment of this recently. I can't remember if it was a film we were watching or if it was a TV show. But CJ just started doing where are they? Who's that again? And I just paused it, put the remote down, and I just slowly turned and looked at her, and I was just like, "Who's that? Where are they going?" you hear that?
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm sorry." And
It's so true though. It's like I'm okay with it because I'll happily just sit in ignorance when I start not figuring stuff out. Because
Yeah.
I'm one of the fannies that will get up halfway through when I'm watching it at home and make a cup of tea, but not pause it. And Donna will be like, "Do you want me to pause this?" No, I'll catch up. And then I come back in and I sit down and I'm like,
what did I miss?
"Oh no, I don't know what's happening." But I'll just sit there quietly for a few minutes, just like,
Yeah.
and I can see her noticing it, and then it's like, so what happened? She's like, "I fucking hate you. I knew this was going to happen." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted my tea."
I think Donna from now on should probably just pause it.
She should, because the amount of times I've done it with when Donna's not even there, just for myself, when I've been watching like anime or foreign films, and they're all subtitles, and I don't pause it, and I come back, I'm like, I am so fucking lost now.
Yeah. Because you can't even do the fake listen thing.
Yeah, but you go, right? Yep, I'm kind of caught up. So they get into a big fight where Marge is going, "Nobody wants to hear what you think," and Homer takes a fucking huff. Something right, like, Homer, grow up. You are being the arsehole here. Like, it wasn't just Marge. See if it was just a Marge thing, then yeah, maybe. But it was the whole cinema. We're like, and then Marge becomes meek, which really annoys me. Like, if it's any consolation, some of the stuff they threw on you hit me. And it's like, no, Marge, you stand up for yourself here. You were in the right. He was a bastard. And then he drops his wains and everybody off home, and then fucks off 100 miles away to go get drunk at a bar. And meets Lorelei?
Lurleen Lumpkin.
Lurleen, who is a waitress / singer, and her music is banging. That is some good ass country music. I quite enjoyed it. And he becomes her manager because that's just how that goes. Marge thinks that they're having an affair. They're not. Lorleen does want him though. Kisses him, and he's like, no, nope. And then he goes back to Marge. And when we have that bit come up with the thinking of the affair, Homer very blatantly comes out like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm just our manager. I want to get our music out there. And he's so upfront about it when I'm like, yeah, Marge, you're kind of in the wrong now. Because it's like, you don't need to be jealous of Homer. It's been well established Homer has only got eyes for you.
Yep.
Like,
and that was one of the things they wanted to implement in the writing.
Yeah.
Was that Homer is just blatantly unaware.
Yeah.
That Lurleen is flirting with him.
Yeah.
He is just completely clueless.
Yeah.
And doesn't realize until obviously the very last moment. And that is one thing that they were just like, oh, should we have it that it's a possible? And he was just like, no. Homer's an idiot. Let's just...
Do you know what I like about his ignorance to that? That shows true love, where you don't see it because you're not looking for it. Because when you think about it, flirting is actually a really subtle business for most people. Not so much for me. As you can see, I'm not a subtle person. No. But for most people, it's quite a subtle affair where you're very, slowly...
Too subtle, I'll add, sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, and if you're not looking for it, you don't see it. And that's what it was with Homer. He's so in love with Marge that he can't see if someone's interested in him.
Yeah. Excuse me. So
Oh, the night shift's kicking
behind the
in.
scenes, I know. So this film this episode is based on a film called Coal Miner's Daughter,
Right.
which is the sort of biographic story of a country western singer, Loretta Lynn. So this is basically like the a parody of that. Loretta Lynn in that film, played by Sissy Spacek, who was Carrie
Okay.
in the 1980 movie Carrie.
Nice.
But in that film, there is a character. I say a character. There is a person called Patsy Cline, who was one of the she was basically known as the first person to take country music into pop music.
Okay.
Patsy Cline was played by Beverly D'Angelo. Beverly D'Angelo was the voice actress in this episode for Lurleen Lumpkin.
Oh my god, is this like 6
Full circle.
6 degrees of like Nick Cage?
Yes, it's 6 Degrees of Beverly D'Angelo.
Who turns out
Yes.
is actually portraying Nick Cage in his next autobiography film.
Yeah,
Boom.
no, it's true. So yes, Beverly D'Angelo is the voice actress in this who plays Lurleen Lumpkin, who is also in the film. The character is based off.
Yeah.
It all ties together very nicely.
That's pretty cool. That is actually some next level pub quiz knowledge right there, Michael.
That's the stuff that you take to the Simpsons pub quiz, like the specific Simpsons pub quiz.
Yeah. I don't even think the pub quiz guy would bring that up. I don't even think they would know that.
Nah, that's too obscure.
That's super obscure. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any jokes that landed with me in this one.
There were a bunch when he got to the bar.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the bar was called.
I just like the fact he drinks FUD.
FUD. We don't sell duff. We sell FUD.
Beautiful thing about that is if you're not from Britain, maybe even Scotland, I think that might be a Scottish word. FUD is another word for a lady's yoo-hoo.
Yes.
And he drinks FUD and wants some more FUD as he goes through this episode, and I giggled like a schoolgirl because I'm like a child.
Yep. The other sort of funny joke, the brilliant line is someone goes, "Hey you, let's fight." Them's fighting words.
Yes. It's the songs that got me. See the I'm coming up Homer when she's talking about the diamond.
Oh, finally bagged me a Homer.
Yeah, I love that song. I'm like, that's a brilliant wee tune.
I think a couple of these, the one that she sings at the bar and I bagged me a Homer, were actually written by Beverly D'Angelo, and she was like in on the writing process.
They definitely sound like a real song and not like a song thrown into a cartoon for. We need a country song. Let's write a half-assed one. It's like South Park. They put a lot of effort into their songwriting stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know the one cartoon that's got around all of this stuff with cancel stuff now? South Park.
Oh.
Because they're so unapologetic about what they do.
Yeah, they will do anything. And they don't care.
Yeah, because that. Again, I know when we talk about Simpsons, it's just because we talk about music. It's like Cartman's black-faced. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
But again,
they have a black child in that, called Token.
But I think because they do it not so much to try and make fun of the stereotypes, but it's really very much making fun of everybody else who sees the stereotypes. Because Cartman is the worst person in the world. Yes. So when he blackface and stuff, it's not to be like, that's funny because he's blackface. It's funny because you're a wee arsehole and you're going to get your comeuppance for blackfacing.
Yes.
Yeah, because like they'll do anything. They'll make fun of everybody.
Oh yeah, like they don't see a line or a bar. They'll just
because when they try to cancel them, they just go, right, cool. We'll just make an episode about the fact that you tried to cancel us. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Aye. Interesting.
But also, I think Fox, is it Fox that's South Park?
No, it was.
Are they under
Fox?
F?
They were under Cartoon Network for a while, but they might be under. No, Cartoon Network. Sorry, Comedy Central. Cartoon Network. 8 in the morning.
They took a big jump from Hanna-Barbera, didn't they?
They were Comedy Central, but I don't know if they still are. They might be under. Right. They might be under Adult Swim now, actually.
Right, because it would just imagine the network, imagine the letter, just be like, no, you can't cancel South Park.
No, I don't think anybody's even wanted to recently.
No.
Actually, interesting. That is an interesting topic at some point down the line of like why does South Park get around it?
Get away with it.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yes, because man, are you working tonight?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Oh, poor guy.
Not soon.
Right, okay. Black Widower. Do you want to take us through Black Widower?
Yes. So, Selma reveals that she's got a new. I almost literally read the Wikipedia there, line for line. So Selma has been using the pen pal service at the prison.
Yes.
To try and find herself a man because she's so desperate to find a man because that is the be all and end all of life. It is for her. She wants to find a man. That's her choice.
Yeah.
She finds one, Sideshow Bob. And obviously the whole Simpsons family, not all the whole Simpsons family, everyone at first was just like, but then everyone's like, ah. And then Bart's like, a little bit more. So then Sideshow Bob is like, Selma, will you marry me? So they get married. And everyone's just like, oh, it's fine, just wants to get married and live a normal life. And it turns out it was all a plot to murder Selma to get her money from investing in mace.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or pepper spray, like.
Yeah. Do you know what's odd about this episode? Like, super odd. The pen pal thing, right? She never brings up that she's rich in the pen pal stuff. That's kind of later on when he says, like, he's spent all his money on the wedding. So it makes me go, what was his end game to start with?
Yeah, why did he literally just want to murder Selma, or was he just?
Because it felt like it was just like events led up to going, well, murdering her might be a cool idea, like because then it comes up that he doesn't even like her, but it's like you pen palled for long enough, and you wouldn't have known that she was anything to do with Bart because her name's Bouvier, and they never bring that up of like, oh yeah, I'm Bart's auntie and things. It just seemed to be like it was a fun episode because it's always good to see Bart try and foil him.
I think it's just a matter of he just needed to murder, or he just wanted to murder, like because he's a criminal. He's a serial killer. Well, he wasn't a serial killer at that point. He was just a crook.
Yeah, but he's never been a serial killer. He's never successfully killed anybody. But that's the weird switch in him because he was just a guy that wanted to run his own telly show. Now, if the storylines kind of make sense, where he's like, well, I just want the money to go do what I want. But I'm just like, you could have came out of prison and got your own TV show. In my opinion, like that's entertaining telly. And then the Selma stuff, it just didn't make sense for me. That it was a fun episode, and it's nice to see Kelsey Grammer back because I could listen to him talk for hours. But it's just like an episode of convenience. It's like everything was just conveniently going that way. It's like, oh, now Selma turns out can't smell or taste.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, because was that a fake falling out? See when they did the fireplace thing, because the whole idea was they had a big falling out before the wedding.
Yeah.
And Homer's like, why don't you just go out for a walk when she watches MacGyver? Secondly, why imagine cancelling your wedding because you don't like the same telly shows? Imagine we weren't friends because one of us didn't like The Simpsons. Like, how dumb is that? That's like the dumb.
We're friends.
Well, okay.
No, carry on.
It's like,
but yeah, it's ridiculous. Everything just sort of seems to be very neatly laid out.
Yeah,
like it's all very convenient.
It's like, oh, I need a reason to do this. Here's a reason. I need another reason to be able to do this, but here's a reason. Yeah, so it was just like it was okay. It was nice to watch Bob, doing the license plates and no one pull him up. Like, mate, you do realise you've got a job to do here. No one's going to get I hate Bart license plate. Like,
I mean,
like we have a quota to meet here, sunshine.
I don't know if the episode at all might have tried to be a play on MacGyver. Obviously, Bart trying to figure everything out.
Possibly, but I don't know MacGyver enough.
I don't know. Never really watched MacGyver. No, the only thing I know about it is Richard Dean Anderson. But that's it. So I don't know if there was meant to be. Even then, jokes, man. Was there any?
No,
like just the mere presence of Sideshow Bob is obviously amazing because,
Hmm.
as you say, Kelsey Grammer, his voice is like smooth as silk.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
no wonder he had like his spin-off TV show where he was a radio show host.
yeah.
Like, I would listen to that.
Oh no, for sure. It's like I feel like he should run a podcast.
Yeah.
Come on, ours, Kelsey. I know you're watching out there in internet land.
Yes. Let's at Kelsey Grammer and see if he'll join us for an episode. We'll talk about a film that he wishes he was in,
Yes,
or wishes he was never in.
like Expendables. He was in an Expendables film
Yes.
for some reason.
Why?
Who knows? It's like Anthony Hopkins being in a Transformer film. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what did you
why?
give him? Did you just go, right, if you do this, we'll make sure you're King of England when the Queen dies?
Yeah.
Like,
There is only one actor that can be in any type of film, regardless of its genre, and that is Dwayne Johnson.
could you really see him in a Shakespearean
Yes.
thing? Oh my god, imagine him as Hamlet. Or Macbeth. Just Dwayne in a fucking this
Yes.
giant Simone in a kilt.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Or just imagine him as like, I don't know, Juliet.
No. We do Romeo, right? Romeo and Juliet, but starring
Yes.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Romeo.
And Kevin Hart as Juliet.
Oh, see, I was going to do
Because they've got their thing.
No, I was going to say Charlize Theron, and then it turns into an actual family warfare. So when you have this, oh, we're going to fight, and they actually fight, and there's drop kicks and rock bottoms and people's elbows everywhere. Charlize Theron does, somersault thing where you grab someone, flip them over, and there's all these stabbings, and it's actually just a turf war. And they don't.
I was gonna say it could like turn and they could like obviously run away together and join up, but then like it turns into an action movie where they like have machine guns and just mow down people.
Because what happens is the families, once they get together and they're like, we're done, we're away, decide we're going to team up to kill you because you're bad for our criminal organisations. We don't want to be together because it means that people think that they can move in on some of our turf.
We're onto something here.
Dwayne, give us a phone. You and Kelsey.
Cool.
We can get Kelsey in.
Kelsey Grammer, you can have EP credits.
Yes. He's the narrator.
Oh.
Oh
God, I can smell the Oscar.
Oh yes.
I can smell it.
Just imagine like winning best film for and like best leading actor.
Romeo and Juliet.
Starring Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Charlize Theron, and Kelsey Grammer.
Oh man, I can see it now.
Because think about it, that means that they'd have done it before Leonardo DiCaprio, because he never won an Oscar for being in Romeo and Juliet.
I know. So, shall we move on
Yeah.
to the auto show? Because this film has another fantastic set of guest stars.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Now, obviously, only two members of Spinal Tap count as guest stars because one of them was always in The Simpsons to begin with. Harry Shearer was one of the members of Spinal Tap, but he's been in it from the very start.
Yes. I love the music the whole way through this. Like, I realise season 3 is when they got money, because see some of like the licensed music they use. Like, as you say, the Beverly Hills Cop song in the last one, and the one with Bart being a policeman, basically.
Yeah.
And then this one, you've got Otto plays a version of Freebird and everything. And then you have Spinal Tap's music going through it and stuff. It is so good.
Yeah. Spinal Tap are always a great bit of fun. Have you seen the movie This is Spinal Tap? Definitely recommend it. It is great. It's sort of a mockumentary following the band, and it's just glorious.
Yeah, I keep meaning to watch it. I've just never kind of got round to it. It's just one of those type of films that I'm like, oh, it's on my watch list, and then I forget.
It has so many quotable lines, and it's just so the band don't realise just how stupid they are, but they're obviously geniuses apparently.
Oh, that's exactly what they're like in this though. They're so good in this. Yeah. It's like when they come on stage, you're like, we're meant to be doing a rock show, not a bloody splish splash concert. And I'm like, why is that so funny? I don't know why it's so funny, but as if they really struggle to think of what to say. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. So this episode, Otto loses his job as a bus driver because Bart goes to a rock concert and gets involved in a riot, which makes Marge and Homer get up a guitar. Reasons. And Otto plays it because that's all he did as a teenager, and the bus is running late and he crashes it into Jebediah Springfield. And they're like, "You don't have a license? Like, how did you get the job in the first place?"
Yeah.
And he moves in with the Simpsons because that's what makes sense.
Yes. Well, I guess, yeah, Bart just, like, offers him the place.
Yeah, he's just like, "Most stay at mine."
Stay with us. But yeah, he's a kid. He's got that blissful ignorance of not realizing what he's done.
Yeah.
Um,
It's quite a funny episode.
and it's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of a bit of mindless watching.
Yeah.
This is just one that you can throw on, and there's a good set of jokes from the likes of Spinal Tap. There's some good stuff from Homer and Otto interacting.
I like it's like he's not the Fonz and he walks in like, "What up, Mr. S?" Hey.
Yeah.
And then there's a good one with him and Patty where he's like, "Yeah, you could be honest with me. It's like, I'm not going to judge, but did you used to be a dude?" And she's like, with the 2 pens. Because the red one's for when she's in a bad mood and you're not getting marked good, and the green one is in she just drops her red pen like, "I won't be reading this." Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah, and they eventually she helps him get his license because of a mutual hatred for Homer.
Yeah.
Because he calls Otto a sponge.
A sponge. A sponge! The one thing it breaks.
This looks like something a sponge would do.
And he punches the wall for no reason, like, mate, what are you doing? It's nice. It's nice to see Otto get a bit of airtime. It was cool to see his character grow a bit, and because you learn that his dad's an admiral, so he came from a military family. That he did kind of do nothing with his life. Like he was, but what I like about Otto in general, he's done nothing with his life, but he's happy.
Yeah,
He's super happy being a bus driver. He's actually so chill, and it's very in one with who he really is. He's like, I am who I am. I kind of float through life, and there's something commendable about not having any of that anxiety of, am I doing the right thing? So well done, Otto.
yeah. It's what you do with yourself isn't like the be all and end all. Like as we've always said, like money doesn't make your life. It's literally just finding your passion, what you're happy about and stuff.
Yes. And Otto's is a multitude of things because he's a decent artist.
Yeah.
Remember he was doing the comic book thing?
Yep.
And it's like
he's good with art. He likes his music. He especially likes his music.
He's a fantastic guitarist. So Otto is the epitome. See, if Otto was about in like the 60s, he'd have been like so bohemian. He'd have been like the coolest guy on the planet. But because it's in the 90s, it's not.
You can very much tell he's like a product of like 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Like thoughts. He is like the heavy metal, like kind of guy.
Yeah, man. It's so good. I'm trying to think of anything else in this episode. That's the thing. A lot of these episodes, substance-wise, were kind of low, but they were just a fun ride to kind of get through. But when we move into Bart's friend falls in love, we get a bit more childhood, what real childhood can actually be like.
Yeah, when your best friend falls in love and finds a girl, and then you just kind of get lost, and you just sort of
you get a wee bit
float through.
Get a wee bit of emotion out of Bart in this one. So
yes,
Bart's friend falls in love is actually quite a simple episode of a new girl comes to school and she and Milhouse get together, and that's the episode. And Bart doesn't like that. Well, Bart
and they just sort of
try
fall out. He rats on them.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bart tries at first as well. He actually puts a bit of effort to try and thing with, like, when she goes and gets Lisa's comic books and things. Like, he's tried to put a bit of effort in, and it was the kissing just broke him.
Yeah. And then Milhouse is just like, no, we just want to spend time, like, just me and Samantha.
And he cries. He has a wee cry at that because he feels so abandoned because he's only got Milhouse, and it's such a shame.
It is.
But he takes it too far, you asshole. But
he just wanted his friend back, but he went a bit far, and she obviously got sent to that nurse school.
The actual villain.
The nurse school, the nun school.
The actual villain in all this is her dad. Actually, his reaction to this is a fucking joke. Like, who does that? Who drags her? You've put her into a new school because you decided to move to Springfield, and then when it's not convenient for you, you drag her out and put her in In a nun school, I'm pretty sure in a nunnery, you stay there in the kind of schools. You don't come home. So you've basically sent your child away for 6 months because she kissed a boy. And dragging them away and doing stuff like that is what ends up growing people into being right horrible teenagers.
Yeah, but you don't. I suppose you don't always know the circumstances behind like what's happened and why he's gone and done it. But obviously, that's never explained to us. There was another thing I was going to say there. There was a couple nice jokes I liked in this with when they showed the sex education video.
Yes.
Ezekiel and Ishmael are allowed to leave the room and pray for their souls.
Yeah. And Mrs. Krabappel has one of the best lines in it of just, she's faking.
She's fake.
Love it.
She's faking.
Yeah.
There's that video alone just comes with so many jokes. Troy McClure says, "I'm here to give you a straightforward talk in sex education by showing you the story, Mr. Fuzzy Bunny's Guide to You Know What." Very straightforward. Yeah. And then it gets to when they have the baby bunnies. It's like, oh, they had a litter of 19 bunnies. 8 survived.
Yes. So good. So goddamn good.
Sad.
And then, she just in general, I think, again, Miss Krabappel just never gets enough time because she's hilarious. Yeah. She is so good.
Because she's got that nice sort of cynic side of her, which, like, feeds to us.
Oh, yeah, because, like, in the one with Lisa becomes a housewife thing, like a homemaker, sorry, they lose their books, of their teacher books things, and watching all the teachers freak out because they've lost their answer sheet. It's so good because she's like, call us.
Does anyone know the multiplication table?
Call us snow day. It's like, it's July. Call us snow day. But yeah, do you know what? I think we can all relate to how Bart feels in this one, and you get to feel some emotion with Bart because we've all been there growing up when some of your friends start getting girlfriends and they don't want to hang about as much anymore or at all for a while. But you know what's really funny about all that? Like, you don't realise it till you become an adult, is see that the times that they don't want to hang about, it's genuinely 2 weeks. It's like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most. But my God, see when you're like 12 and 13, that might as well be 6 years. You're like, fucking arsehole. And you only see them at the weekend, you know, because you're at school. You see them all day, so you're on school and stuff, but yeah. We've all been in Bart's shoes, and we've all been in Milhouse's shoes where you've got your pals just like, gonna fuck off for 10 minutes, please. Yeah. I'm trying to get to know this kid. Yeah. Try to get to know her. Pump.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, after those, like, few weeks where you've gotten to know, when you're more comfortable with your partner, then you can, like, obviously spend time with your friends and your partner, or just one or the other.
Yeah. It's kind of odd that one, because when you're younger, the pressure of your pals not liking them, that makes or break it. Like nowadays, if you like someone, like CJ, very much big on that one for you because you married her. If one of your pals didn't like you, you'd be like, I don't fucking care, mate. Yeah, you can either be a grown up about it or not. That's how this goes now.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, that was if they didn't like them, it was like, right, you need to fuck off now. Bye, hen. You were really cool, but he doesn't like you. So see you later.
Yeah.
I like being an adult sometimes. There's less drama.
It's weird how I Met Your Mother delves into that one, because there's the episode where Ted's going out with like that horrible girl from college.
Yes.
And then all of his friends hate her, and he's like, you know what? I don't care if my friends hate you. And then she's just like, oh yeah, well I hate them, and he's just like, that's too far. You can leave.
Yeah. There's a weird balance, I suppose. Yeah. I think, see, when it comes to, see if you don't like. So say I didn't like some of Donna's friends. I don't. I like Donna's friends. They're all pretty cool. But say I didn't. I wouldn't tell her necessarily because you don't interact with them enough. How I Met Your Mother, they all interact with each other way too much. Yeah. So you actually get a whole package. Like, you don't get Ted, you get Ted and 5 other people at all times. You know? But in real life, you see them like once in a blue moon. So you don't need to like them. You just need to be courteous.
There's another couple fun bits throughout Bart's Friend Falls in Love. We've obviously got when Samantha's in the room talking with Skinner.
Yes.
He obviously talks a lot about his experiences of Nam and when he was trapped in the cage, and then when he came back, he was supposed to get a parade, but they all spat on him.
Yeah. His Nam stories are brilliant because they're not funny, but it makes them hilarious. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
I could drive a school bus with the auto episode. I drove off-terrain vehicles in the Nam, and you're like, okay. You forget he's a hardened war vet. Like, he's been through some shit, and he wouldn't recommend it. No.
And then we've also got the bit of Homer getting the subliminal cassette tape to help him lose weight, and it just makes him talk better.
Oh, I don't know what he says either. Like, Marge's like, I don't know what he's saying. And he's like, sexy time. And he's like, yes.
Yeah. No, that was good fun.
It was a cool episode. Again, this was a funny season in general. This was just a fun season. There was a couple of deep things, but it's been a fun season. And we're on to the last episode. We're made it.
The last episode.
Brother, can you spare 2 dimes? So, Homer gets some money from the power plant because he's sterile.
Because his swimmers don't work.
Bump. Yep. And with that, he's going to spend the money on some, daft nonsense. But Herb shows up, who's penniless because of Homer. He lives on the street.
Because Homer broke him.
Yeah, he's homeless and everything. To be fair, Herb should have been better with his money that one bad car design shouldn't have bankrupted his whole company.
Yeah, it should have had some stuff tucked away for a rainy day.
Yes, like stocks and shares. I feel like heads of companies know what that means and do
but also,
stuff.
like, does that just mean that, like, as soon as he produced that bad car, everyone was just like, no, we can't buy from Powell anymore? Or did they produce that many of that car that it cost him all of his money?
That's the problem. Because when you release a new car, you tend to release a prototype of it. Like, this is like the kit car version of it, where it's kind of put together and you show it off. Yeah. And then you get your reception on it in case you might need to make any tweaks. Because think about it, I'd have to go through all the safety tests. Oh my god, we're getting it in real life. Never mind. So he comes back with no money and comes up with a machine that means that you can listen to babies talk.
Yep.
Does it?
And it translates it.
That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Because that's not how that works. The reason babies can't talk is because babies can't talk. They're trying to, but it doesn't come out like that. Them going, "Goo-goo-goo-goo" isn't words or thought thingies. It's just noises. Because I try to figure words.
Yeah. But the other sort of crazy thing about it is, obviously, it takes into account all the stuff like pitch and frequency and amplitude and all that kind of stuff for waves, the speech waves. But a baby could make the same noise and mean 2 different things. Every baby's going to sound different. And every baby, is going to mean different things by what they say because they learn as much as the parents learn.
Exactly.
Everything will change from child to child. So
it's basically the flat earther science where they've got some instruments and some actual science put in enough that they sound smart. So they go, well, we actually take the pitch and the volume and the frequency of the wave, so that means that we can do this. That's like flat earth saying, well, actually, we went and get all this scientific equipment to see how the magnetics of the earth move to show that it doesn't actually move and we're flat and everything goes around. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just because you looked up the wiki on... Right, cool. We'll get this in a minute, because... No, I'm going to save it for Friday. I'm going to talk about it on Friday. Because I realise we've had such really good conversation points, it would be brilliant for Friday. And we're just getting it in.
Right,
so
okay.
I'm going to restrain myself on my flat earth stuff.
Okay.
I'm not a flat earther. It's me against it. I just want to make that clear.
He is a flat earther.
The world's a cube.
What? The world is a plate on the back of, was it 4 elephants that are all on a turtle or something like that?
Yeah, because you've got Discworld from that.
Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. Like, dude was a mad
color magic.
Yes, mad psychic who knew these things.
Yeah,
that's how it works. So, brother, can you spare 2 dimes?
So Homer gets his money because his junk won't do its job, or all the pee that was in his balls has run out, and he was like, "Oh, I want to spend it on getting a new couch because their couch broke." So he wants to get the Spine Melter 2000, which is a chair and not a sex toy. But everyone else is like, oh, could get so much other stuff, and Herb's just like, why don't you give me the money so I could build this thing? Because you've ruined my life.
And he's so against it for a while. It's like, mate, you genuinely ruined his life. Give him the $2,000. It won't make a difference to
Yeah.
you. Also, how dear is everything in the Simpsons world? Like, they go get like a normal telly and it's like $800. They go get a new chair, it's $2,000. Like, what the fuck is the pricing at Simpson Land?
Yeah, that's meant to be like a top end, best of the best kind of chair.
True, but it's nuts. I've seen it a few times. I'm like, how much does things cost in this world? Or am I just in my own little bubble that I just don't realise how much everything costs?
Yeah, that's it.
Fun episode. It was nice to see Herb's kind of wee montage of figuring it out. That was quite fun.
Yep.
And what?
Danny DeVito's always a joy.
Yeah.
Just in everything.
I like it when Maggie's going to be sick on him and she's going, and then throws in, went, this means sick. With sick.
Eureka.
Yeah, Eureka.
Yeah.
But again, another episode doesn't go too deep into things. Some decent jokes on the way through it, but it's just like a fun episode. And I read a nice wee bit of trivia there. Do you know why this episode happened? There was a bit of a backlash to Herb getting made ruined at the end of the previous episode with them, so they wanted one where he gets back on his feet.
Cool.
So there you go.
That's good. I suppose, it sort of brightens things up as opposed to just this horrible, bitter feeling of like Herb getting ruined.
Yeah, because it's kind of shit, actually. Like, it's a really depressing ending to a Simpsons episode, the last one.
Yeah. I like the sort of resolution at the end of this one, how he's obviously like, he gives them a bit of repayment and stuff. I say repayment, like he gifts them stuff. He doesn't need repayment because obviously Homer ruined him. Yeah. But I like the whole sort of Herb saying, I forgive you. You know, you've been there for me now, and we can be brothers again. So that's good.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I think he comes back in another episode. Yeah. I can't remember.
I think it's quite a bit down the line though. Like they take quite a huge break, because it gets Marge a new washer dryer because that's something she needs.
And he sold the other ones to Moe's bar so that they could raise them.
Because why wouldn't you? Because she gets given money as well because of that. He gives back the £2,000. He gives Bart again?
A membership to the NRA.
So when he's old enough, he can get a gun.
Yeah, he can get a machine gun.
Lisa gets the start of a new encyclopedia thing.
Yep.
And Homer gets a hug and forgiveness, and he's like, typical Homer attitude. He's like, "Oh, I never got anything." And it's like,
I wanted a chair.
Yeah.
You don't realize the impact of what you did actually get, though.
Yeah, you asshole. You've got your brother back.
Yeah.
Like you mended the fence by staying out his road. Basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You've actually taken a massive step up from getting punched in the face every time you say something.
Oh yeah, I forgot that that's how it worked at first.
The first thing he does when he sees him is he punches him in the face and then just steps over him into the house.
So I'm sorry, Homer. Every word that you say just makes me want to punch you in the face. And it's a nice running joke.
Could you at least kick me in the butt? I'll try, but I can't make any promises.
So good. So that was The Simpsons in review, season 3.
That was it. Do you want to do a wee sort of overall review for this season?
We could do. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this season?
So I think the scale has definitely finally tipped. Like, we are now we're pretty much out of the drama park. Yeah. If anything, there's just a little bit of family drama left in there. We are now comedy.
Yes.
They've now sort of stopped with the family drama. They've established themselves as being a dysfunctional family that doesn't work. They're now onto more ridiculous scenarios that would never occur. Obviously, more ridiculous when you watch it as a child. Now that we watch it as an adult, obviously we're looking at all this stuff of, like, you know, Bart losing his best friend to a girlfriend, Otto losing his job, the dog, like, all this stuff seems very, like, you know, as a child, you're like, that stuff's never going to happen. But as an adult, you're just like, this has happened.
Yeah, so you know.
Not only can it happen, it will happen.
Yeah, it's like.
But then you look at a lot of the other stuff that's like Flaming Moe's and Radio Bart.
Yeah.
And Homer at the Bat. And it's all very ridiculous stuff.
But even with the ridiculous, there's still some of this grounding in reality where you could have heard a story of that. Of like, at some point you feel like you could hear a story about a wee boy putting a radio down a well and fucking
Yeah.
with people. You could hear the story of like the amateur football team and the guy that somebody knows somebody who's a semi-professional football player or something joins the team.
Yeah.
It's like it's not went full the other side yet. It still has kind of low-key storylines, which is good because it keeps you engaged. And
Yep.
here's a question: out of the three
Go on.
seasons, what one did you prefer?
Oh, I'm always a sucker for comedy, and I think the other point now as well is that they've hit their stride with the animation.
Yeah. Oh God.
We're
Yeah.
we're now at a point where this is the animation that the Simpsons would keep for a good while. I've noticed there's still some stuff that's either scenes repeated or scenes that are just a little bit choppy.
Yeah.
But this style, the colorings that we've got and the layouts that we've got, nothing's really changing too frequently.
Yeah.
So this is sort of what they would stick with for a while. I'm big on this season.
Yeah.
Out of the three that we've had so
This
far.
is your season. My least
Yeah.
favorite season out of the three is season 2.
Okay.
I feel like it's just it's tried to do an identity change. It doesn't know how to do it yet. So you get a lot of good episodes, but you get a lot of really subpar. And I'm very
Yeah.
50-50 with season 3 or season 1 because they're two different shows. In my opinion,
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
it's very not apples to apples, even though it's the same show. So I had more fun watching season 3, but I had
Yeah.
a much more interesting time dissecting season 1. I think season 1 has more to talk about, but season 3 has what I would call the Simpsons. You sit back,
Yes.
have a giggle, and don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
So all in all, season 3, good season, and a really
Yeah.
nice one to end on, in my opinion. Like, we ended on a good season.
Definitely. So as for the future for Simpsons, we might, if we find ourselves with time, we might be able to talk about some stuff in the future. Obviously, we've got Trios of Horror that we've still never gone near because we avoided those episodes
Yeah.
for this because we had the hopes of saving that for October.
Yep.
I think we'll maybe try something at some point. Obviously, it just depends when we get time.
Yeah, I'm happy to interject the Simpsons into Fridays every now and then because it would be nice to have the three of us. Because turns out Mark's a big Simpsons fan. He loved the Simpsons when he was growing up. So, Treehouse of Horrors could be a thing that we do some point in October. We could still do some Treehouse of Horrors. No loads. We can just like maybe pull out our top 10 or something. We'll have a discussion.
Yeah, pick out a few.
And we'll be like, this is the best of the best of the best.
Yes. And then there's always the movie at some point if we ever want to get into that.
Yes,
That's a thing.
it is. And I would like to do the film because our first viewing of the film, I didn't like it. I thought it was trash. Rewatching it, that shit is funny. That is actually quite amusing. There's a lot of good bits of it. Like the dome coming down and it's the guy underneath it going, oh my god, if I leave the dome, I'll be on my own and don't know what to do. If I stay in, I'm stuck in the dome. And then it gets crushed. Yeah. Like, the Simpsons film is actually quite stellar. And that's when the animation change happens. It's the season after.
Yeah.
Because they have all the money.
Yep.
But so, Michael, thank you for going through memory lane with me with the Simpsons. This has been a treat.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's been pretty good.
Has been good fun.
It's been good, and we will keep up some form of Simpsons going in the future.
Yes.
So this will be the last one out on on YouTube as well, which I've kind of accelerated the timeline of it because I want everything on YouTube so when we get to Friday coming, that's kind of our big restart where everything's going out on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes. So we're back on Spotify now.
Yeah,
which is
Simpsons
grand.
and Deep Dives aren't going to be on Spotify because I feel like our Friday discussions are just more in line with having a sit down and a blather. There's more going on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And Deep Dives end up having videos and stuff playing through it, which would just be a bit weird to listen to without seeing. But we will see you on Friday, Michael. You will be joining us, isn't that right?
I will. I am working Thursday night, but I am off on Friday night. So I might be a tired boy, but I will be present. And it's because we get to talk about a film I thoroughly enjoy.
Good. Like, what film is that again?
Oh, are we allowed to talk? I didn't know
Yeah,
if
of
we
course we
were.
are. Of
Yeah.
course we are.
Batman
Yes,
Begins.
because
Batman
we've
Begins.
already told everybody the rundown of all the Batmans we're going to be watching.
And as we know, I'm a
Oh, shame
big old Scarecrow fan.
shame he was the worst part of the film, eh?
Oh, thank you to keep your terrible opinions to yourself. No,
who's the Scarecrow again in it? Like, he wasn't really a part of it, was he? He was just like not there.
not really, especially not at the end.
No, it was a shame because he did right. That's Friday discussion because I would make a joke
Yes,
that
it
was
is.
blurring into like actually discussing it. But so I will see you on Friday. We'll be going live at 6 o'clock for anybody who is still here listening for Friday.
6 o'clock on Friday.
Yes.
I'll set my alarm.
So guys, I think for the Simpsons, Michael, you have to take us away for one last time.
For the last time, guys, it's always a pleasure. We're always the worst. See you on Friday.
Bye.
Ciao for now.